Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for the week finishing up December 4th, 2015. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only. Support your knowledge in the market. See what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. Friday, end of the week. What a week, guys. Looking at the ES today, we've got one day on the TF this week, Monday YM Tuesday, 2 days on the NQ, and finishing up here on the ES. Let's jump right in as we saw. Here's our big picture. Actually, let's roll back here a moment. Let's get the pre-session. As we can see, price action Globex high. Market waiting on employment data. And for Draghi to speak, we had already gotten the beige book out this week. OPEC meeting was coming up today, but it's all about Draghi comments today on the ECB monetary policy. And so here we are, pretty much overnight session, just very chop after the downtrend from yesterday. Market pre-action you saw coming down right here about 45 minutes too, and then the big picture for the session, it was just all taking back those losses from yesterday. As you can see here, price action right out of the gate. You had that swing down as we just saw before on the other chart. Market action right here in the open right here, so the move to the upside had already started. It was this move over here that started this entire move to the upside. As you can see, several waves up here. I want you to take notice again. We've talked about this all week. Look at that 5144 bottom chart here. The bigger time frame, 5144, even though we had some sporadic. Now remember, the remainder of the rest of the week, we've talked about the third bar as being a 20 tick. Today the ES is a 10 tick chart, a 10 tick chart here for the bigger time frame. Trades are taking off a lower time frame on the ES, setting to a flex Renko 540 setting. So it was right here. You thought, great, look at that. The 5144 is downside, maybe continuing this move down. I'm going to show you why that trade would not have put you. It could be a quick scalp, but it wasn't the best of setups, and I'll show you why you would have avoided this. And then the turnaround right here, boom, look at that. T3 moving average crossover, 534, and then the 10 tick is in the green. You had to wait for the second move. So, you know, you missed this first move. You would have gotten maybe in here. You might have been taken out. But it was at least this next move that was all upside and never retesting this one of these initial entries. It was all upside from here, so for some major nice points today. And here it was, post European close down to the bottom, and right there, Draghi's comments lifting this market to the upside on all four indices. So let's jump right in to the big picture pre-market. Wasn't looking very good, right? Bearish on the swing picture over here. We had price action underneath the 5144, a bullish neutral because the 50 is still above the 144. Bigger picture still kind of bullish to neutral. You know, we were holding here at the 5144, and we already had a Fibonacci test yesterday, the 61.8 that held up. So the question would be, do we come down, test the 50, or, you know, do we pull back through the session? And that was yet to be seen. And again, here's that fib draw. Still looking for that. That's going to come one day, guys. Put my word on it. It might take a year. It took a year last time. But there's that open gap that eventually will get filled. All open gaps eventually get filled. I know that would have been a nice start right there. But hey, you know what? We held up here at 61.8. We've been holding up here at the 127 Fibonacci extension from the low A, B, C, and pulling the fib draw, and there we are. We've been holding right there and not being able to push above. So we'll see in the weeks to come. All right, let's jump right into that first move we were just talking about. Again, if right there, that first sell signal there, you know, we had the move up. Again, that you might have missed that on the market open. And then you're saying to yourself, well, the 50 is below the 144. Yeah, look at the 50 below the 144, and you got a sell signal downside. Well, what was keeping you out of that sell signal? A couple of things. Number one, you had an AD line that's moving to the upside. I know there's a little bit of a downturn here on the market internals on the AD line. But here you go, you got 10 tick upside. I know you got a couple red bars here, but I'm going to show you what it kept you out of that and then put you into this trade. Now, not the gold standard setups. I only got 3 out of 4 charts in the green. So maybe it was going to be the second setup down the road, but this is setup clearly number 1 that was to the upside with a tick count that was pushing above 400 to 700. AD line was holding above the 10 period SMA, and it was all upside. So there it was, setup number 1 for the session. Now, this is what I wanted to show you right here. Here's market open. Okay, price action coming to the upside, completing that move that was pre-market, and there we go. We get that price action move downside, and right there, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about this move to the downside and the sell signal, and what would have kept you out of that trade going downside is exactly this price action that's encapsulated in between the 50 and 144. Now, usually we talk about the 51.44 as just a gauge of bulls versus bears, but throw in price action and look for the price rejection. Look what it did. It hit right on the 50 period moving average and never went down underneath that. And so this move to the upside that eventually went into the green, you can see this right here. Look, it's still red here, and eventually after this nice move up, it went green. But look, price action's popping above the 51.44. Good enough for me. That's a great setup right there. Now, you might not have gotten on the initial entry. You might have gotten on one of these pullbacks, understandably so, but it was all in trend. Heikin Ashi bars, green color, 3 charts out of 4 charts, 75% probability upside. Awesome move. And again, here we are, ES holding up at the 750, and you're asking yourself, well, is this the end of the move? I don't know. All right, so it's trade management, right? Trade management that followed downside, retesting right here. So that was that move up. Price action again, there it is. That's all we got. We tested that 750. We tested 10 period SMA. We are at post 45 minutes of trading. We have a little bit of a nice pullback. Again, an opportunity to maybe take a scalp entry to the downside. But now, we got price action for the most part with a bias, a technical bias to the upside. Here we're seeing the bounce over the overnight high. So, technically setup number 2 setting up right here now as you're not wanting to take the short, you're looking for the long entries, being that the technical bias right now seems to be shifting to the upside and has been to the upside. Of course, we want all things in the green. Tick count upside, AD line finding support. My AD line's going green. My 20 tick is turning around, and I found support at the overnight high. So here we go. Setup number 2 here at about 10:16 Eastern Standard Time. There she goes. Follow through. I know it took some time for the 10 tick to crossover, but look at those Heikin Ashi candles in trend. Your 51.44 is in the green. Big picture, we're holding upside, and there we go, right back to the 750 line. What a move. Setup number 2 of the session for the ES. Here we go. Setup session number 3 after a pullback. Great opportunity to draw a fib retracement or a fib extension. Are we going to break that 750? Finally, look at that. All 4 charts in the green. How can you go wrong there? Price action, look at that tick count up above 600. Very powerful move. Setup number 3. Again, a little bit of a pullback. Here we go again, back up to the upside, and price action now breaking above the 750. All things still in the green. We had things in the green here. Another opportunity for a pullback entry and back to the upside. Still, price action holding above the 51.44. Now, if you go back to the chart that we initially had in the beginning, let's scroll all the way back to that first chart. We're talking about this whole move right here. We had several opportunities to get into the trade. Great opportunity to move up. Buy signal, buy signal, buy signal. All right. Now, again, these are possible trade management tools that you can use to simply move your stop on the way up to the most recent swing size, or look for a place to get in had you wanted to exit on the first red candle. Again, it's personal management once in the trend, but it was all clearly to the upside. So there it is, setup number 3, breaking above the 750, tick count above 400, 50 still above 144. You got all 4 charts in sync. Fantastic entry. And there we went, buy signal to the upside. Now, what I want you to keep in mind here is the price action move is that if you go back to the original Fibonacci chart, all right, let's roll back here for a second to the original Fibonacci chart. We already had price action downside. Now, what I did was I drew a fib retracement from the top to the bottom here of that complete move. And so thinking that, well, if price action's heading up here, all right, price action's heading up here, all right, getting ahead of myself here. If price action's heading back upside, then I'm going to take a look and draw that on my chart. is price action going to come all the way back up to the 61.8 daily Fibonacci? Look, if we break that 27.9, boy, we've got a move that's clearly going in the other direction and a clear trend direction, but not yet, as price action was moving up, and we were in the last 30 minutes of European session. And so there she went. She sold off a little bit. Russell was the deepest seller of all, but again, the 50% daily fib is from the direction from the top to the bottom as price action was retracing back up. So we already broke the 50% daily fib. The question was, are we going to have a complete trend change here and go above that 61.8? So price action on the AD line coming downside. We're on, technically setup number 5 here with a sell signal downside. Why do I say that? Look at that. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the price action rejecting on the 51.44 here. And to say that, maybe this thing has had its run up to the upside, maybe 61.8, almost to there, is going to be the end of the trade. And I got a tick count that's negative 365, good enough for a setup to the downside. So setup number 5 there, again, wasn't to last, guys, but it did go some nice direction. Here you go. You had setup number 1 on the 5. Setup number 5 here was setup number 1. Setup number 5B. Here you go. You're still getting that price rejection at the 50. It's holding downside. The T3 moving average on the 10 tick, a little bit bigger time frame than the chart on the left here, is coming down. AD line is coming down, and I got a tick count negative 428. So not a bad setup to the downside. And so there she went. And here we are post 2.5 hours of the market, as we can see this move that's been coming down here to about 2071.75. Well, there it is. That was that move downside. You had a re-entry. Again, you couldn't get the initial entry. You might have looked for a re-entry on a smaller time frame. So all this part of setup number 5 to the downside came back for a good retracement. You can see the AD line was coming down in the red, 10 tick downside, but we found that support. We found that support right down here at the 144. All respect to the 144 and the 50-period moving average. Again, price action shopping in between, just like we had this morning. And look at that tick count back upside, 513. And here we are going to pre-Draghi comments that you obviously know what's going to happen here. Price action is going to lift. So there it is, setup number 5, and boom, we moved right into setup number 6. This is at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time with a little bit of chop pre-market. Again, you might have sat out of this knowing those comments were coming out. Price action inside a little bit of that 51.44, found support at the 144, and look at that tick count. That's what I'm talking about, 866. AD line turns around, 10 tick bounces upside, and you're all in the green here. You're bouncing off the 50% daily fib. We're working our way back up to 61.8. We break the 61.8. We got a complete trend change. And here we are. This was the move of the day. There you are. You had the Fibonacci pullback on a 15-minute chart. This was around pre-Draghi comments, and there was the lift. We weren't coming back down for the remainder of the session. There she went. Yes. Now, had you not gotten here on the initial setup, you might have taken one on a pullback somewhere. You would have had to go to a smaller time frame, as we're 1 or 2 setups in here. But again, 50 above 144. How many times do I show you this? But I'll keep reinforcing it. Look at that bounce right there. This was right pre-Draghi comments. Lift up. 10 tick upside. AD line upside. Tick count still in the green. Here we go. We're headed to the 600-day VPOC. Thinking maybe that's in the line. Nope, that wasn't in the line. It was back up to the previous high. And that's what I was talking about. That was a re-entry right there on this move. I said you didn't get the initial entry. You would have gone down to a 320 flex Renko. You would have gotten a re-entry here, or back on a 5-4. You took a re-entry here. Everything's still in the green. Again, one of my particulars of re-entries is that I like the first re-entry. It gets a little difficult. Gets a little difficult when price action is moving to the upside, and you want to re-enter your question. Again, you got to get that bias out of your mind that the market is that's it. It can't go any higher, because you know what? When you say that, it's going to go higher. You just have to wait for your setups. You have to place your trade. Take some contracts off at a certain amount, let it run, let the market do its thing. You don't have, you and I don't trade those contracts to move the market the way it does. So we're at the whim. We're the crumb traders of America and the world. And if the trend is moving, hop on the train, place your stop at break even, and let it run. And use that 51.44 to keep you in. So there it is. That was that nice re-entry, broke that previous high. here on a 540 600-day VPOC, the ES, along with the other markets. I mean, you just look at this. Solid Heikin Ashi bars, tails up, all charts in the green. What would take you out of that? Well, that might take you out of that right there. First red candle on the downside. All right. Now, your option. Do you exit the trade complete at this point? You can keep your stop at break even on the buy signal. It's all up to you. But again, the trend entry, healthy ticks to the upside, breaks above previous high. That was setup number 6, still continuing. And eventually we came down at the point where possibly you would have had the sell signal. You might have exited. All you retraced back here to the previous high, 600-day VPOC. And that was the line in the sand right there, 600-day VPOC. Now, you bounce back up. You get a buy signal here, setup number 7. Everything's still in the green. 144 finds support there at the 50 right there. 60-day, 600-day VPOC, 50-period moving average. You got a green tick, 371. AD line still setting up. Setup number 7. Unfortunately, setup number 7 actually had a little bit of a pullback. You might have been taken out on that, but it was setup number 8 here that just ran with it. Look at that. We found support, that 600-day VPOC again. AD line upside, 10 tick upside. Again, the 50 price action testing that 50, 144 again as price action came downside. Again, this is another option to exit out of the trade, or at least take your first contract off. Run it, run it, run it. Everything in the green. Take off the first contract on that crossover, the first red candle, and then place your stop or move your stop up along the way. It's up to you how far you want to trail up. And there it did. Price action came down. It retraced. There we are. There's that price action right there at 322 coming down. Found support around that 61.8 Fibonacci. Drew myself a Fibonacci line. Again, we had that support at the 600-day VPOC. Came down here. Found some support to the upside fib, but the fib did break the 61.8, so looking at a trend change here, but noticing the price action was not following all the way down, actually finding support the 144. AD line just kind of chiseling sideways here, and got a little boost up. You know, at this point of the day, you got to say to yourself, look, the market's, you've had a nice run. There's been some great moves. Why give it back? Why give it back at this point, right? Price action has just been chiseling out sideways. You're at the market close here. Price action is just chiseling inside the 51.44 at this point. You're not going to really get a long trend move, and that pretty much was it. As you saw, the AD line here on the ES just flatten out for the remainder of the session. Looking at volume profile, price action again, the majority of time spent in the upper region. So now we have a weak high here, or a weak high value area, not being able to push above that. So around the 2088.25 is the point of control leading into next week. And so here we are, the big picture volume profile. What a move today. Look at that. We have a weak low down here. We really never extended that. And now we have a weak high here. But there it is. There's that line, 2083.50. The market's been holding on to that for some time now. All right, so there it is. Post of the market, we were in a bearish position. Now look at this. Moved it all the way around. Bullish, bullish. Look at this bar right there. We had 61.8, and now we pushed it all the way back upside. What a day, what a day. Bullish, 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 bullish. We're back to bullish, a little bit bearish neutral on the monthly, but pretty much 96% to the bulls right there. Unbelievable move. Unbelievable move. And there it is. There's that fib draw. Attempted to break the 61.8. Wasn't able to. And came right back upside. We drew a fib draw from the top to the bottom, and look what she did right there today. She broke the 61.8 and settled above. I actually had some. I actually had some pictures of the other market indices here. Let me go ahead and grab those for a second. All right, to finish off the recap, let me go ahead and just show you the NQ here. The NQ had a nice move as together with the ES. There it was. Market open. Several opportunities here, almost masking the same moves as the ES today. There was your early morning move. Several re-opportunities of entry to the upside. There was Draghi's comments. Again, check it out. Same picture, 51.44 to the upside. Last two charts here. Take a look at the Russell. Russell right out of the gate to the upside. Nice move. Unfortunately, came all the way back down. Not much in trend like the rest, but there it was with a nice lift. A lot of chop in the middle. Actually selling off right at the European close, but it was this move right up here. Again, most price action. Again, I was watching the TF today, didn't really like a lot of the price action, much choppier than the others. But again, when you're looking for a trend move, you see a T3 moving average crossover. This was probably one of the better moves of the session right here. 2, you had all 4 charts in the green. Again, if you had chosen to go short, you would have been at the whim of maybe 2 or 3 charts. You would have looked for a re-entry here. You had a pullback, but it was post-Draghi comments, 2 opportunities to the upside. And let's wrap it up with the YM. Here we go. Smoothest of the bunch here today. Look at that nice move on 3 charts to the upside. Again, similar, not as much of a move to the upside as we had on the ES and NQ on 3 entries here. The last one not lasting too long, but again, earlier entry to the upside. 534 was in the green for the majority of that move. The 20 tick was in the green. The 5144 at the remainder of the session. Any entry below really never tested those lows, and you just continued to have higher lows throughout the session. All right, that concludes the daily trend wrap-up for today, December 4th. Feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My trading mantra of one simple strategy: any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter at TradingFibs. And as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only trade what's in front of me and on my charts. Hey guys, have yourself a Blue Zone weekend. Good day, good night, good trading, and see you next week.